So Tony Fernandes, who is the CEO of the AirAsia group, has continuously gone back and forth on his decision on whether he should choose the A330neo or the 787-9 for his fleet renewal. Now we know that his decision has been finalized because he went for the A330neo at the Farnborough Air Show. But I really wanted to discuss as to why he favors the Airbus plane over the Dreamliner. What are the benefits of operating the A330neo compared to the 787, and how will the plane be utilized by the airline? Well, in order to answer this question, let's briefly go over the two planes and see where they stand in the pecking order. Well, the A330neo is essentially an upgrade of the very popular A330ceo or the current engine option, and it promises 14% better fuel consumption per economy seat. There are two versions of this plane, the 800 and the 900. Now the 800 will cover around 1300 kilometers with 257 passengers, while the 900 should cover around 1200 kilometers with 287 passengers. Now the 787 family of aircraft can seat between 200 and 300 passengers, and it has a range between 6500 and 16,000 kilometers. They're very popular with many airlines ordering different variants of the family. They're highly fuel efficient and offer lower cost of travel in terms of seat cost per mile, with the ability to fly direct to smaller regional airports instead of larger airports where passengers might have to transfer. But if we compare both of the aircraft for a typical transatlantic flight, then the 787-9 has a slight advantage of the Neo in cash cost per available seat miles, while the Neo outperforms the 787 once capital costs are included. They have close economics where the A330neo costs $30 million less. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go back to AirAsia X and discuss their reasoning. Well, back in 2016 the airline ordered 66 of the planes when Tony Fernandes made his way to Toulouse. I remember this being a big day with a lot of talk in the industry, but nothing rests in this industry, and he ordered a further 34 of the type, with the first plane scheduled to be delivered in the last quarter of 2019. For a brief moment there were talks of him ordering the A350, but this decision has been proved to be futile because it doesn't really fit within their business model. Fares would have gone up and also the cost, considering that the A350 is larger compared to the A330neo. Then the 787 came into the mix, with rumours that the carrier was looking at a mixed order of the 787-10s for his regional networks and the -9s to meet his long-haul plans. Although the Dreamliners does have a slight advantage over the Neo, and not to mention the aggressive pricing that Boeing would have offered, but the A330-900 ultimately won because Airbus presented a better deal and early aircraft delivery slots. It also comes down to commonality as well. We know that they operate an all Airbus fleet, so the flight crew will have an easier transition from the A330-300s already in its fleet. They currently have 22 A330s, and with 100 Neos ordered, the first few aircraft will be used to gradually replace the 300s. They also have 9 planes which will be sent back to their leases, and 7 planes that they outright own will also be replaced. So that leaves around 70 Neos which will be used for the new growth at its carriers based in Malaysia, Thailand and Indonesia. So in terms of where and how the planes will be utilized, Tony Fernandes has stated on various occasions that he wants to tap into the European market again. He said that demand will increase by almost 20% in the Asian market to travel to Europe by the next 10 years. They already used to fly to Paris back in 2012 using the A340s, but that route was ultimately dropped because of the high price of oil and the aircraft's poor economics. They'll most likely be using the newer maximum takeoff weight variant of 251 tons for these kind of routes, which will be available in 2020. The first few planes will be used in their existing network to places such as North Asia, Australia and China, where the operating efficiencies will have a greater effect. They've also expressed interest in entering the US market, but it seems like this desire is far-fetched at this moment in time because there's a lot of political issues that they will need to overcome, but that doesn't mean they don't have a chance. Considering the new 251-ton variant will boost the Neo's range by 1200 kilometers, it means that they will reach most of Europe from their base in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This will include London and Paris, two destinations which he really wants to extract as much money as he possibly can. But is the A330neo really worth it? Well, to be honest, I can't really answer that question because if the airline thinks it's good, then we just have to go along with them. But we have to question whether the airline can truly fill their planes to the brim and still make a profit on thin routes. Their expansion plans are very ambitious, and I don't doubt that they will achieve most of them. But it really makes you wonder whether they'll be able to sustain the level of growth to justify ordering 100 of the Neo planes. By the time we're into the late 20s and the early 30s, the planes will be decades-old design that has newer engines. Factoring the high possibility of rising fuel prices and the economics to sustain intercontinental flights between 10 and 12 hours, it doesn't look very promising. Compare that to the 787 however, even though it's $35 million more expensive compared to the Neo, which has proven itself with long-haul low-cost carriers like Norwegian and Scoot and various other operators. I mean, they could focus on strengthening their high-density regional services and study the market when pursuing the European and the US regions. But I think an issue for AirAsia with long-haul is that other full-service airlines offer economy specials at very attractive prices to fill their planes all of the time. These prices are always available through booking sites and offer significantly better comfort and travel experience. The airline can't really compete with the 9-breast A330neos which everybody knows about. Perhaps the airline can offer a long-haul sub-fleet with 8 abreast economy or a split between 8 and 9 abreast to attract more travellers to long-haul routes that haven't worked in the past. If this doesn't happen, then I don't personally rate their chances of getting much traction in the long-haul market. However, there's plenty of medium and short-haul routes for the A330 and passengers won't mind the tight seating for 3 to 7 hours on the flight. Frankly speaking, I think they need to find a sweet spot with the market, and judging by previous attempts, they won't be successful if they don't position themselves for long haul with a more viable product. Now it'll be very interesting to see how this deal unfolds and how they decide to go about their European flights. Now as to the reason why they cancelled the A350, well, the A350s were ordered long before the Neo was launched, and at the time of the order, the A350 was a logical replacement for the A330-300. Now when Airbus launched the A330-900neo, Tony Fernandes claimed credit for pushing Airbus into it. At the time of signing the launch order, Fernandes said that it was the aircraft that they've been asking Airbus to build. As the AirAsia X network consists mainly of flights not exceeding 10 hours, the A330 is more than sufficient as it doesn't cost as much compared to the A350-900. So at the end of the day, it's logical that they cancel the A350 order. But if we look at the grand scheme of things, the 787-9 is effectively the same size as the A330-900neo, and it still goes even further. Now the 787-10 is significantly larger and it doesn't go as far, but it's perfect for high density routes without gaining unnecessary additional range from its smaller brother. For the airline and Tony Fernandes, it's hard to see how the 787-9 or the -10 doesn't make the most sense for them. I mean, the 787-10 should offer significantly lower cost per seat mile than the -9 and the A330-900neo. The -9 is a bit more efficient operating wise, and the A330-900neo is supposed to be cheaper to buy. However, at the end of the day, I doubt they would have switched to Boeing. But I think from a pure optimal family for what they do, the 787-9 and the -10 fits perfectly for their business model. So captains, that's all there is for me at this moment in time. I wanted to explore this topic because I found it very interesting, and I hope you guys learned something too. If you have any thoughts or opinions, then share them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow friends. Remember to like and subscribe for more aviation news and analysis videos, and I'll see you guys very soon.